Hello, thank you for coming to my video. If you would like to help my channel grow, please like and subscribe, and please click on this little bell icon so you never miss a future video. Hey guys, welcome back. A short time ago I did a product review and comparison of the HDMI cables for the original Xbox console by Hyperkin. I didn't exactly recommend them unless you just wanted just a simple plug-and-play solution, didn't really care too much about the quality because of some video noise caused by the cable. Well, Pound Technologies, or Pound, this company, basically these guys right here, saw the video and sent me one of their cables and wanted me to test it out and do a review on those. And I took a lot of the original footage from the Hyperkin video, and I'm going to compare that to this cable right here using the same games, just for kind of a little more accurate comparison. So right away, I'll get this out of the way. The quality, the video quality of these cables right here, which I actually have, this is just the box, the cables right here. Definitely a much better quality cable. It has a micro USB port that it uses for power. It doesn't come with the cable for that, but it does come with an HDMI cable, or at least the one they sent me did. I've seen some other video reviews of this cable where it shows off the, or it talks about this, how that's not really needed. However, I did not find that to be the case. I tested footage with both the USB cable plugged in, and it's just for power. It's not like they plugged in the console or anything. So basically you just plug in the power using like a cell phone charger or something like that. But I tested video footage both without that plugged in and with that plugged in. Without it plugged in, I get some of that noise just like I did with the Hyperkin HDMI cables. But when I plugged in the USB cable for power, that noise cleared right up. So it must power some kind of filtering circuitry in there or something. But as far as quality, it looks very, very close, if not pretty much identical to the official component Xbox cables. I have both the original Xbox brand component cables. I got the ones that like first came out when the console first came out, like, you know, little box and the connectors, and I got the ones that came out later where you plug it back to the console and it's just the straight up cables. Both of them support optical digital audio. However, just like the Hyperkin HDMI cables, these do not support that optical audio, that optical sound. So when it draws audio, it's drawing from the left and right analog source and not the 5.1 digital DTS audio source. I'm hoping that Hyperkin or Pound, whichever one does it, will revise this to where this will draw the audio from that source, or at the very least it'll have like some kind of pass-through either here or somewhere where you can basically plug in that optical port and still get that 5.1 digital sound. Because for me it's a deal breaker. I'm not going to use this on a regular basis. As far as quality, I mean, if you have really good component cables, the quality is nearly identical. So I'm going to stick with the component cables just so I can use the optical sound, because like I just bought a brand new stereo from Amazon. I'm expecting it to show up later today. But if you don't care about the audio quality and you just want just regular stereo sound, and you want the convenience of HDMI, definitely pick these up. And yeah, we'll get into some video footage and I'll show you some of the comparisons. So right away, here's a quick video of, or a couple videos, both with my phone and with my Elgato capture card, of the official Xbox component cables, which of course looks phenomenal. The original Xbox console was capable of both 480p, 720p, and 1080i high definition video, not capable of 1080p. So the Pound cables and also the Hyperkin cables, they don't do any upscaling. All it is just a straight component to HDMI conversion cables. So from my earlier video before, which I will put that video in the description down below, so you can just click on the link. This is taken from my Hyperkin HDMI cable review. I had some problems that I mentioned earlier with some signal noise. So if you're not concerned about that, you just want to plug it into a TV with HDMI and just play your games, that's fine. But the quality of those cables are not as good. So you're going to get a little bit of signal noise, and this is with all resolutions. The games I'm testing here run at 480p, both Mortal Kombat, Deadly Alliance, and also the original Halo. And here's some footage with the Pound cable. The Pound cable, this footage right here also shows some of that noise, but then again, this is not with that USB power source plugged into it. So it's drawing all the power from the Xbox console. So you're going to see a little bit of that same noise. However, if you plug in the USB power source into the Pound converter, it cleans up that noise and you get a very clean signal. So definitely recommend picking up the Pound cables over the Hyperkin cables, hands down. But then again, like I mentioned earlier, you're not going to get that 5.1 sound. So here's a couple more games I tested, both Mortal Kombat Armageddon and X-Men Legends 2. Both of these games support native 720p resolution. And first off, here is video footage using the Xbox component cables, the official Microsoft cables, and again, the graphics of the original console just look absolutely amazing even for an old console. I mean, it's definitely a much better, much more capable, much more powerful console compared to its PlayStation 2 competitor and even the GameCube. And here's some footage using the Hyperkin HDMI cable. Again, you're going to see some of the noise. It may not show up well using my phone capture or the Elgato capture, depending on the quality of the video you might be watching this on, but definitely shows up in person on TV, and not really something I recommend buying unless you already have them laying around, or you just want simple plug in play and you don't really care about the video quality. And here's the footage in comparison with the Pound HDMI cables. Again, this is without the USB power source plugged in. You get the same noise. I saw some other YouTube videos saying the USB power port isn't really necessary. However, obviously it is, because when I plug that in and I play those same exact games, I get a much clearer signal, and I honestly cannot distinguish in person between the HDMI Pound cables and the official component cables in terms of quality. So both of those solutions are fantastic solutions for video quality, and I would just avoid the Hyperkin cables altogether. And finally, here's a couple more games for comparison. Here is MXATV Unleashed and Enter the Matrix. Both of those games output a 1080i resolution. Again, the Xbox component cables, the official Microsoft brand, they look really good with this console, and very happy with the results on that. However, with the Hyperkin HDMI cables, like in my earlier video, not that good a quality, because you still get the resolution, but you don't get the quality. You get a lot of that video noise in there, and it just doesn't look very good, and to be honest, it kind of annoys the hell out of me. And with the Pound cables, if you don't plug in that USB power supply, you get that same signal noise like you see here. However, if you plug in that USB power source to help power the Pound cables, that noise clears right up and you get a nice, really good 1080i signal from your original Xbox to your TV using HDMI. A lot of TVs nowadays are starting to come out with only HDMI. They don't have components. They're starting to phase that out. Like I've seen some at Costco, like one of the new Samsungs, they only have HDMI. Definitely a much better option to go with this over maybe just using regular composite or maybe even S-video. But if your TV does have component inputs still, the choice of what cables you want to go with is going to be up to you. So the $25, $30 question, should you buy these? I would definitely buy these over the Hyperkin product, hands down. Hyperkin product, I would avoid it of all costs until they come out with a revision that fixes the noise. As far as these, if you do not care about the quality of the audio, if you're okay with stereo sound, then yeah, I would definitely pick these up because it's just a much simpler solution. But keep in mind, you're going to need a USB plug for power to power these cables. If that is an issue for you, or if you're like me and the lack of 5.1 audio is an issue, then I would stick with the original component cables, or maybe even some good quality generic component cables, as long as they have that optical or digital audio output. I would like to thank Pound for supplying me with this cable for this review. They're not paying me or anything. They were just gracious enough to mail this to me to make this YouTube review. And yeah, I will leave a link down in the description to pick up these cables in case you want to purchase them. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys later.